Hi, I'm Alexis, and if I were going to be presenting a product to Shark Tank, I think the idea that I would present would be something called an IV Comfort Glove. I think it would make hospital visits a lot less stressful. If you've ever had a small child or you've had an elderly patient, then you know that keeping an IV in is very difficult sometimes. Every year, millions of people, especially kids and elderly patients, have IVs in the hospital. But IVs, they can be very annoying. They move around and they get pulled out accidentally, and they can even cause pain and bruising. And traditional methods like tape and arm boards don't always hold up, and it can make it more stressful for the patient, and they can be uncomfortable. So I think this idea of an IV comfort glove would be a great idea. It would be like a soft, flexible glove that would gently compress the area around the IV, and it could be made just like the standard mesh covers that they use now, except for it could have two Velcro straps, and one it would strap over the hand right here so that way it's not moving around, and the other one could strap right here around the wrist so that way the IV is not pulling. It would go over top of the IV, giving a little bit of compression, but not so much so that it would cut off the IV, but it would keep it from pulling and moving, and kids wouldn't be able to take it off. I think this design would be especially good for elderly confused patients and young children who like to try to pull their lines out. It would be soft, it would be easy to put on, and it could be comfortable for long periods of time, especially when patients are sleeping. I know that was a big issue with my daughter, which is how I came up with the idea. She was in the hospital for an extended period of time several weeks ago, and it was just very uncomfortable for her to get any rest, or she kept saying it was hurting her and it was just uncomfortable. And I think a better way of securing her IV would have made her a lot more comfortable, because the tape kept coming off and the mesh little glove that they put around was just not tight enough to really do anything. So I think one that has a slightly more compression and also has the option for like a Velcro strap, kind of like the way that ace bandages have after you get like a blood draw, where it could just like, you could just wrap it and stick it. It doesn't necessarily have to be Velcro, but I think like a glove style that has like a covering right here, and then two straps that would go one around here and the other one around the wrist, and they could come back up here or over here and like secure down, but it would keep it from pulling this way, and it would also keep